Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into something I know a lot of you have been asking about.
Yeah.
It's reality transurfing and human design.
Oh, two of my favorites.
Yeah, and how they work together, right?
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
can we actually use them together
Yeah,
to kind of level up in our personal development journey? I think that's what a lot of people are interested in.
for sure. And I think they really do complement each other well.
Okay, awesome. So we've got a few books to pull from today. We've got Reality Transurfing,
Classic.
of course, Hacking the Technogenic System,
Yes.
and Manifesto. So to help us break all this down, I've got an expert here with me today who's really good at seeing how all these complex ideas fit together.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here. And yeah, I think there are some really fascinating connections.
Cool. So maybe just to start off, um, both reality transurfing and hacking the technogenic system
Yeah.
talk about this idea of a dual reality.
Right.
Like, there's the physical world that we see and experience every day, but then there's this whole other level, this metaphysical space where, like, all possibilities exist.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, reality transurfing calls this the space of variations, which is basically an information field containing all these potential realities.
Yeah.
And hacking the technogenic system describes something super similar.
Okay.
It really talks about how the physical and the metaphysical are constantly interacting.
So instead of just one fixed reality, like we're taught, there are all these other possibilities out there.
Yeah, think of it like a library with millions of books,
Oh, wow.
and each book is a different reality.
Okay, I like that image.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then how do we choose the book, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we get to that reality that we want?
Well, that's where being an active creator comes in.
Okay.
And, reality transurfing talks about this idea of sliding towards the realities we desire, using our thoughts and actions.
So we're not just like passive observers. We can actually shape what happens to us.
Exactly. We have that power. And then human design kind of adds another layer to that.
Okay.
It emphasizes how important it is to understand our energy type.
Oh, yeah.
And, when we're in alignment with our design, our ability to manifest really amplifies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what I find really interesting is that hacking the technogenic system talks about how this system we live in, right, all the media and technology and even just like societal norms, it can actually influence our energy
Uh-huh.
and like our consciousness even.
That's true.
Like, it's kind of creepy when you think about it.
It is. It can feel like it's trying to control us.
Yeah. So how do we deal with that?
Well, what's so cool is that those tools we talked about from reality transurfing.
Like reducing importance and stuff.
Exactly. They become even more powerful when you look at them through the lens of the technogenic system.
Oh, I see.
It's not just about managing your own personal energy anymore. It's like you're reclaiming your freedom from these outside forces that are trying to control your reality.
So it's like hacking back.
Yeah.
Taking back control. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about manifesto for a minute.
Sure.
I know you're a manifester.
I am.
How does being a manifester play into all of this?
Well, manifestors are here to initiate, to get things moving.
Mm-hmm.
They've got this powerful energy,
Yeah.
this real drive to create change. And when you connect that with reality transurfing, you start to see how that strong energy might make them a little more vulnerable to those pendulums we were talking about.
Oh, because they're so ready to just jump in and take action.
Yes, they can get caught up in the drama and chaos, fighting against things. But at the same time, that same intensity gives them huge potential to break free and really create massive shifts in their reality.
Oh, so it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it is. Manifesto talks about the importance of informing rather than demanding. And that really resonated with me because it ties into the idea of reducing importance in reality transurfing.
How so?
Well, when a manifestor informs people of their actions without needing approval, they're not feeding that pendulum with extra energy.
That's a good point.
They can express their power authentically without triggering all that resistance.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's get practical for a second.
Yeah.
How can all this be applied in real life? Like, what can our listeners actually do with these ideas?
Well, both reality transurfing and hacking the technogenic system really emphasize visualization.
Okay.
So in reality transurfing, it's about creating what they call slides, which are like vivid mental pictures of your desired outcomes.
Uh-huh.
And hacking the technogenic system talks about forming target slides.
Okay, so it's like picturing yourself in your dream job or living in that perfect house.
Yes, and holding on to that image with this sense of knowing that it's going to happen.
But doesn't reality transurfing say that we shouldn't get too attached to specific outcomes?
Yeah, Exactly. It warns us that the more importance we place on something, the more we actually block it from manifesting.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's about finding that balance between taking action and letting go.
Yeah, trusting the process.
Okay, so we've got visualization and we've got reducing importance. What other techniques can we use?
Another big one is breaking free from those negative pendulums we talked about.
Good.
Reality transurfing talks about a technique called damping, which is basically not giving those negative thoughts or emotions any energy, just letting them pass through you.
So like when you're doom scrolling on social media and you start feeling bad about yourself, you just close the app and go do something else.
Yeah, that's a great example of ignoring the pendulum. And when you understand how the technogenic system works, these techniques become even more important. You're choosing how you want to experience reality.
I'm feeling super inspired to start applying all this. What's a good first step for our listeners?
I think just start by tuning into your energy. When you feel drained, frustrated, or anxious, ask yourself, what pendulum am I hooked into right now?
Okay.
And how can I reduce its importance in my life?
That's great advice. What about for those manifestors out there? What would you tell them?
Manifestors, own your power to initiate. But remember, real power comes from aligning with your design and informing the world of your actions, not demanding approval. That's how you break free and step into your role as a conscious creator.
This has been amazing. We've covered the basics of reality, transurfing, and human design. We've talked about how to use them together to shape our reality. And we've even touched on navigating that tricky technogenic system.
It's been great.
I have one more question for you before we wrap up this part. You mentioned how manifestors can use informing to reduce resistance. Could you give us a concrete example of what that might look like in the real world?
Sure. So let's say you're a manifestor and you're leading a project at work. Instead of asking for permission to implement your vision, you inform your team of your plan. You present it with confidence, knowing that your ideas are valuable.
So you're not giving away your power.
Exactly. You're simply stating your intentions clearly and directly. This reduces the energy you waste on seeking approval, and it minimizes potential pushback.
That's such a helpful example. Okay, we've covered so much ground today, but there's always more to uncover. I'm curious, how does this idea of internal and external intention in reality transurfing connect with human design?
Ooh, that's a great question. And it's one we're going to delve into in part 2 of our deep dive.
Awesome. So be sure to join us next time as we continue to explore this powerful synergy between reality transurfing and human design.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
So last time we were talking about how reality transurfing can help us deal with that whole technogenic system thing.
Right.
And you mentioned something about internal and external intention.
Yes.
That I wanted to circle back to. Can we unpack that a bit more?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a super important distinction in reality transurfing.
Right.
So internal intention is all about forcing the world to kind of bend to your will.
Oh.
It's like, you're pushing against reality, trying to make things go your way no matter what.
I'm going to make this happen.
Exactly. Universe, you better listen up.
Uh-huh.
And all that force just creates so much resistance.
Right.
But external intention, on the other hand, is more about aligning yourself with the flow of reality.
Okay.
Accepting that the world's unfolding in this perfect harmony already, and your job is to choose the path that resonates with you.
So it's about surrendering and trusting the process.
Yes. Think of it like surfing.
Oh, okay.
You don't fight the waves, you learn to ride them.
Right.
You use your skill and intuition, but you also got to respect the power of the ocean. You work with it, not against it.
That's a great analogy.
Right.
So how does human design fit into all of this?
So each human design type has a natural way of interacting with the world, right? Like generators, for example, they're designed to respond.
Okay.
They have this amazing energy for work and creation, but it needs to be sparked by something they're truly passionate about.
Gotcha.
For them, external intention is almost like a superpower. When they're in alignment, they're effortlessly flowing, responding to life's opportunities with all this energy and enthusiasm.
That makes sense for generators.
I think.
What about manifestors, though?
Yeah.
We were talking about how they're designed to initiate, to take charge. Doesn't that sound more like internal intention?
It might seem that way at first.
Okay.
But a manifestor's power comes from their ability to impact the world.
Yeah.
But for that impact to be positive, it needs to come from a place of informing, not demanding.
Okay.
When a manifestor informs others of their actions, they're not looking for permission, they're just letting people know what's up.
So it's about reducing that resistance.
Exactly, and allowing their energy to flow more smoothly.
So informing is actually a form of external intention for manifestors.
Precisely. It's about aligning with that natural flow of energy instead of trying to force things to happen. Understanding that your actions have this ripple effect and taking responsibility for it.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all of this connects. But how do we actually cultivate more external intention in our lives?
Right.
Especially in a world that's like, go, 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 achieve, achieve, achieve.
It's tough, for sure.
Yeah.
It starts with awareness. Pay attention to those moments when you feel yourself pushing against reality. Notice that tension, that frustration, and when you feel it, ask yourself, what would it look like to let go of the need to control? What if I just surrendered to the flow and trusted that I'm right where I need to be?
Sounds like a lot of trust is involved.
Yeah, trust is key. And reality transurfing gives us this really helpful tool, reducing importance.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that before.
Right. The more importance we give to a specific outcome, the more we cling to it, and that creates resistance.
So it's about saying, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to visualize what I want, but I'm also okay if things don't go exactly according to plan.
Exactly. It's about embracing the journey and trusting the process. And, when you combine reducing importance with human design, you create this really powerful combo for manifesting your desires with way more ease.
Okay, cool. You mentioned how generators are designed to respond.
Yeah.
How does external intention work for the other types, projectors and reflectors?
Great question. So, projectors are here to guide and direct. They're amazing at seeing potential in others and helping them shine.
Right.
But their energy works differently. They don't have that same sustainable energy for constant doing.
Okay.
They need to be recognized and invited into situations where their gifts can be used. So for them, external intention is about recognizing their own value, sharing their wisdom, and waiting for those right opportunities to show up.
Interesting. Okay, what about reflectors? They're kind of a mystery to me.
They are unique. They don't have a fixed definition like the other types. They reflect and amplify the energy around them, taking on the qualities of their environment.
Whoa.
So for them, it's all about finding those healthy and supportive environments where they can thrive, surrounding themselves with good people and good vibes. Basically, they reflect back to us the wisdom of the world, helping us see that bigger picture.
So they're like these living mirrors reflecting back to us who we are and where we're at.
I love that. Yeah, they remind us that we're all connected, that our energy impacts everyone, and that the quality of our reality really depends on the choices we make.
This is so insightful. So when we understand our human design and we practice external intention, we're not just shaping our own reality, we're contributing to the collective too.
Exactly. We become conscious participants in this grand symphony of life, each playing our unique part in harmony with everything.
Wow, I love that. You've given us so much to think about today. But I'm curious, how does this technogenic system idea fit in with more traditional spiritual practices, like meditation or prayer? Are those still relevant in this context?
That's a great question. It's actually one we're going to explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Oh, perfect. So make sure you join us next time as we uncover even more about this fascinating connection between reality transurfing, human design, and the spiritual path. Welcome back to our deep dive.
It's great to be here.
So last time we ended on this really interesting question about how this idea of the technogenic system fits with more traditional spiritual practices.
Right.
Like, things like meditation, prayer. Are those still relevant when we're talking about, shaping our reality and all that?
Yeah, that's a question that I get a lot, and it makes sense. So many traditions emphasize this idea of connecting with something bigger than ourselves, surrendering to a higher power.
Right, and that sounds kind of similar to what we were discussing with external intention.
Exactly. And that's where I think the real harmony lies. Reality transurfing doesn't dismiss the idea of a higher power at all.
Okay.
In fact, it actually acknowledges that there's this universal intelligence that's kind of orchestrating how reality unfolds.
So it's like when we're sliding towards our desired reality, we're actually aligning our will with this higher will.
Yes. I love that way of putting it. When you're practicing reality transurfing, you're letting go of those limited ego-driven desires, and you're opening yourself up to a much greater possibility. It's like trusting that the universe has a plan for you that's way more amazing than anything you could come up with on your own.
Okay, yeah, that resonates with me. But then hacking the technogenic system kind of presents a different perspective, right?
Right.
It talks about this system that almost seems to be working against our spiritual growth.
That's true, and it's important to recognize that tension, the technogenic system, with all its distractions and its focus on material things, it can definitely pull us away from our spiritual center.
Yeah.
But I think the key here is awareness.
Okay.
When we're aware of how this system is influencing us, we can then make the choice to step back.
So those reality transurfing techniques, they almost become a spiritual practice in themselves.
Absolutely. Think about it. Meditation helps us quiet the mind. It reduces all that mental chatter that keeps us hooked into all the dramas of the technogenic system.
Uh-huh.
And prayer, when it's done authentically, is a way of setting intentions and aligning with that higher purpose we were talking about.
And then when we combine those practices with what we know about our human design, understanding our energy type, and living in alignment with our unique blueprint, it's like we create a shield against those negative influences.
Yes. That's a great way to put it. You become this empowered co-creator of your reality, consciously choosing the experiences you want to have instead of being swept along by the currents of the technogenic system.
This has been such an enlightening conversation.
It has.
I think our listeners are feeling really inspired to put all these ideas into practice.
I hope so.
Do you have any final words of wisdom for them as we wrap up?
I think just remember that it's all about the journey. Be patient with yourself. Experiment with the tools and techniques we've discussed. And most importantly, trust your intuition. Your soul knows the way.
I love that. So, to wrap up, reality transurfing and human design can work together to help us on our path of personal and spiritual growth.
Yes.
By understanding how these systems complement each other, we can become more conscious creators of our reality, navigating those tricky challenges of the technogenic system with more grace and intention.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you for having me.
And to you, our listeners, thank you for being here with us on this journey of exploration. We'll see you next time.